Oh, good morning. Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back. Continuing work here on the Dachshund. Alright, let's get this all sorted here. Alright. Hey, who's here? Paul on Facebook, Vince, Mercenary, Stacy, Cody, Kiro, Kaze, Vincent. I think I said Vincent already, but Buddick. Y'all are here. What's going on? Interesting. I was just before starting, I thought I saw that. Thought I saw Sturgetti was there. I thought I saw a comment, but maybe not. Sturgetti, I'm sure will roll up in here soon enough. Corey, what's going on there? Mike, what's going on? Yeah, going to. I got like all the seam lines basically all sorted. Basically, just kind of get out parts here for what we're working on. And see where we left off. So, all right. Yes. I'm going to finish up the arms, finish up some pieces on the body, work on the head a little bit, and have a good time. So, yeah, Lincoln, I'm pretty positive Lincoln won't be joining today. I didn't even ask him because I know usually Thursday, I think, is the day. Sorry about that. Smash the mic. That was probably super loud. Thursday is the day I know that Lincoln has like a family time. So I know usually he's not working on Thursdays. Or not like, working in the sense of that he would be around in the office to call in and hang out and chat with us. But so I got all the seam lines removed basically so far, except a couple still needed a little bit, so I just had some super glue on a couple little bits that I just have to clean up here a little bit. But otherwise, everything's looking pretty good. Pretty good fit. So, like you can see, here on the top, for example, is some more just super glue on that seam that I'll have to file. I'm on you. And let's see, get some of this sandpaper here. Yeah, greetings. Let's see, Josh is in a cold Texas. Yeah, I was actually just before going live, I was just watching a news story about Texas. Pretty crazy. Looking good. Greetings from the UK there, Broken V-Fin, greetings. What's going on? Alabama is also about to get hit with some ice. Man, crazy. Careful. It's actually snowy here too. A little bit, which is not out of the ordinary necessarily, but it is a little bit out of the ordinary to like actually have snow on the ground, because we don't get a ton of snow in the area of Korea where I live, and usually when we do, it just kind of doesn't accumulate or it melts pretty fast. But it was snowing a bunch yesterday, and it's actually a little bit still kind of left blowing around, so that's not unheard of, but having some snow sticking around is pretty rare. It'll be gone by midday, though, I'm sure, once the sun's totally up. Morning, Zach. Hey, there you are, Stargetty. I was saying earlier when we started, I mentioned that I was sure you'd be in here shortly. Hey, D'Angelo. As always, appreciate that super chat there. Ordered a HG Zaku 1 Sniper and Dom Trappin. Nice. A couple of nice kind of more obscure Xeon designs a little bit. I mean, I guess the Dom Trappin maybe not that obscure, but compared to the standard Dom or the Rick Dom. I should wear my apron. usually like if I'm doing a bunch of sanding or something, I'll put on an apron so I can just wipe my hands on it very easily. Or, you know, alternatively, wet sanding would be good, less dusty, but I'm usually lazy to like actually go get some water. Weather in America has been horrid. Yeah. Shuri, how's it going? It's going good. Been kind of very tired this week, to be honest. Maybe that's come through in the live streams, or maybe that's because of the live streams. I've been live streaming every day, and actually, we'll be live streaming this afternoon with Josh. So, I know most of you guys probably watching from the US, and that'll be like a terrible time for you guys, so you probably won't be able to watch if you're watching currently from the US. Later this afternoon for me, it'll be like crazy early in the morning for you guys, so you probably won't be able to watch it live, but you can watch it later on. But I'll be live with Josh doing some Plamono Trend. If you want to catch that. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I'll be live with Josh, and then tomorrow night, live on the USA Gundam TV channel with Adam, where we'll be answering your guys' questions, doing a giveaway with the P. Bandai Master Grade Barbatos expansion set, and announcing the new contest. So we'll be getting that out for you guys tomorrow, and then you can get straight to work on your new contest entries. And it will be like a building and painting contest. I'll just say that there won't be any category this time for like I guess like a sort of beginner category for anything that's just like snap built unpainted. Unfortunately, sorry to say. I know I try to include a category like that usually, or sometimes just you know, I know that not everybody paints, so I want to give everybody a chance to join in the contest, even if you're not a painter, but not this time. Sorry. That said, I'm thinking to have a just like a photo contest soon too. If you guys watch regularly and pay attention, you probably heard me mention that in the past. For like a couple months I've been saying that I want to have a photo contest. I've just been like lazy to actually sort that out. Maybe not knowing like a good proper theme for that, or having like good prizes set up. I'm building along HGC Unicorn Nemo. Nice. Never really been a big fan of the Nemo though, to be honest. There's certain aspects of it that I do like, but the chest is so weird for me, in my opinion. It's certainly one of my least favorite kind of grunt suits, I guess. It would be a good word for that, I suppose. This is interesting how this piece of armor on the back of the arm there is stuck on there, held on by like kind of almost nothing there, and this one is held on to here, kind of on this side, like that. Now I think I'm not gonna stick this onto this arm quite yet, because I am planning on doing something extra on this arm. I want to make a hatch of it opened up, which I have to cut a hatch. It doesn't have one, so I have to cut a hatch out of this and have like an open hatch here on the arm as kind of part of my plan for doing a slight customization to this, basically just by adding that. So just to save myself from being worried about breaking off this little piece, I'm just gonna leave that off for the time being. But this one I guess I'll stick on there. But I'm just wondering, where's the color card? One of my few complaints about machining Krieger kits in general is that they don't have a lot of photo reference in the box. So like when you're building the kit, like I like to be able to check the photos, because like the designs are pretty weird, right? So it's good to be able to check the photos to see like how something's supposed to look. If it's like kind of unclear in the manual, I can at least look at the photos of the kit and see, okay, that's how it's supposed to look. But like usually, like all you have is like there's the color card, which I mean you've got illustrations there, but it's not, like as convenient as having just some proper photos of the kit. And like for one, I'm curious about how this is meant to look on the, let's see, it would be the suit's right side, and there's no image of the right side, there's only an image of the left side and the front. So that's one thing that I would like if, in the manual, obviously it's just super basic, no photographs or anything like that. This one as well too, there's like an illustration. Where is it? On the front. There's a line or illustration of the side, that's all. So I don't know, I don't know how they would do it, because this is kind of like the style of how the manuals are and how what's in the box is. I don't know. I don't know how they would do it without changing the machining Krieger style too much, but it would be nice to have some photographs there. So what I usually end up doing if I need it is I just look up the photographs on my computer if I need to check. Thank you, Boom Cannon. Who else we got there on Twitch? Live Barter there, also on Twitch. What's going on? Let me see if there's anyone else. Josh Street asked, what's your take on Mr. Color Paints? I like Mr. Color Paints. I use them probably 70% of the time. It's Mr. Color. The other 30% would be Gaia. Brian T on Facebook. Sorry, I missed your question. You asked, have you ever used pastels for weathering? No, not really. Like the Tamiya weathering pigments, I guess it's kind of similar, right? I use those a little bit, but not that much. Pastels is something that's always kind of been a bit like shrouded in mystery for me, that like I've just never really seen. If you guys know of any like good tutorials or something, tutorial videos explaining about like how to use them and stuff, pass those along to me. Because I'd be interested to see, but that's just something that I've just never really looked into, never taken the time to really look into too much. What's going on, Shaka? Yeah, I've just never really taken the proper time to look into like using pastels. But yeah, like I know they're a thing that I just need to Google, basically. I'm sure. And I don't remember. Let me see. Yeah, in like a couple of different books that I have, I don't remember offhand if hang on, if there's sections in there about that. I'm sure probably in one of the Machine Krieger books that I have, there's probably a section about pastels, I'm sure. So I was thinking there was more to do on the arms, but really the arms are basically kind of done. Actually, I guess all the pieces we need are all kind of already here. Kind of already had them all finished before, just minus a couple little adjustments. So, I think maybe I have the arm. Yeah, that's the backwards part, because it looks like it's supposed to have like kind of a double joint there, but it was bending the wrong way. This will be better. Kind of well tight into that polycap. So yeah, you actually have a double joint there in the elbow. It's pretty cool, and that's still not in a huge range of movement, but something. It's pretty nice. Corey said, really easy to use. Corey, I suppose that comment is referring to pastels. Well, now that you mentioned it, you do sound tired, Boom Cannon. Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, tired, I don't know. And my daughter was stressing me out a bunch yesterday as well too, which I don't know, maybe making me tired as well too. She's kind of having her terrible threes. I know y'all heard of the terrible twos, but the terrible twos are nothing until you get to the terrible threes. When they start wanting, then we have the same kind of thing with my son. I don't remember it being quite as bad with my son. My daughter seems to do it a lot worse. But where they get to the point where they want to start doing everything themselves, and they get really agitated when you do something for them, and I wanted to do it myself. It's like, oh my god, give me a break. If you guys have kids, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. But alright, I wanted to get the arm on here so that I can see how I should attach this this armor piece on the back. Because number one, this armor piece on the back of the arm, just the tiny little connection piece is fine. I'll glue that and it'll be fine. But what's weird is just the general shape of it. It seems so oddly shaped for where it's positioned. But anyway, whatever. Just stick it on. G-Paint. I did order something out. I was checking out some other supplies actually, and I ended up ordering a Tamiya. It's kind of like a weathering stick. I forgot exactly what it's called. I'll have to check, but it's like a weathering stick, basically. I don't know, for lack of a better word for that. Where they're like a few different colors. I think there's like a couple of different, like there's like dirt, sand color, and I think there's a snow one as well too, kind of in white. Where it's sort of like, how I understand it, it seems to be basically kind of like a kind of a waxy pigment kind of thing. if that makes sense. As far as I understand it. You guys know what I'm talking about? Alex, thank you for the super chat there. Buy yourself a coffee on me. I will. I have some coffee here right now, but I think I will buy some more coffee later, probably. I'm that black man said. My kid started climbing out the crib this week. We got him a new bed, but he just sleeps on the floor in front of the door. Man, I feel your struggle there. For my son, my first, we used a crib for a while, but then we just moved, we switched over to just all of us sleeping together in the same bed. So we had the crib next to the bed, and like he would sleep like okay, but I don't know, we just found that he slept so much better just being in the bed, like actually with us, basically next to his mom, next to my wife. And so, you know, we'd done our research, looked into it. Basically, if you guys, again, if you're ever been in that position, parenting, I'm sure you've probably, you know, you read stuff around online all the time. And I kind of gave up on reading advice. This is going to be the parenting episode live stream. I kind of gave up on reading advice about what to do about different stuff online, because no matter what you look up, you always find contradicting views on things. Like you go to one site and you be like, this professional doctor's opinion says you should do this, and another site you go to, this professional doctor's opinion said you should do this completely different thing. It's like, okay, so basically it just comes down to whatever works for your kid. So, I mean, kind of just your best judgment as a parent, I feel like, is probably kind of the only thing that you can do, really. So yeah. So we gave up on the crib, and what did we? We're just all sleeping together. And so my daughter, then, who was born later, never slept in a crib at all. But, so of course the worry about like all of us all sleeping together, and my son is now 5, and we still all sleep, and we have this like big, massive bed. It's like it's on the floor, and it's like 2 queen size mattresses together, all in this one bed. So it's plenty large enough for everyone to roll around, and it's not like all crammed on the bed or anything. But of course, the concern is that, you know, then once they need to move out and into their own room, then that could be problematic. You know, they're gonna have real trouble sleeping in a separate room. Could be the case, but I don't know. We'll see. I think, you know, you never know about that as well too. That kind of thing. It could end up being perfectly fine, or even if they have slept in a separate room, like in a crib in a separate room their entire life, and then we move to a different country, like we're planning on doing, and then all of a sudden, let's see, whether they've been sleeping in a separate room the entire time or not, you never know what's going to happen. That's what I mean to say. Anyway, never know how they're going to react to a change. We'll be new to airbrushing, John said. We'll be new to airbrushing my Gunpla soon. Do you recommend sanding the whole part to get rid of a nub, or will primer and paint suffice? Yeah, John, I mean, sanding, you want to sand as much as possible, I would say. 'Cause the more sanding you do, ultimately the better the detail is going to be. So, or the better the finish is going to be. especially if you're going for a clean finish. If you're going for a weathered finish, you know, maybe less important, but especially if you're going for a clean finish, you know, do more sanding. It's only going to make it look better. Just to get rid of nub marks, but also mold lines and also sinks in the plastic, the other thing you need to get rid of. But then aside from getting rid of those imperfections, sanding also just gives you a better surface for your paint to stick to. Drew Black says, built a Tamotu today. Gonna paint it like a Nier Automata machine. Yeah, it's a fun kit. I really quite enjoyed it. I knew it kind of looked cool, but I didn't know if it was gonna be very fun or not, really. But yeah, it was fun. What about your cats? All in the bed too? No, cats are not allowed in the bedroom. They don't. We don't want to deal with all the hair in the bedroom. Let's see. Okay, hang on. There's a bit here in the menu that I'm trying to see what it's talking about. Make a hole in the base and attach a metal wire. There's a thing here about making a rod antenna. And do we have the rod included for that in the box? I don't think we had any rod included in this box, as far as I can remember. And it says to... Oh, yeah, it says right underneath. It says there are no antenna parts, so... it's something that you can do later on. So I'm gonna... Right here, for adding this part onto the back of the body, is where it's saying you have this part here, like this, but it's saying to cut off the top of that and just to make a wire instead. So I'll do that a bit later. So again, I'm just highlighting sections here in the manual that I need to come back to do later on. Oops. Now once some more of the construction is all done. Runner A2. Runner B. Let's see, B2 and B3. And there was something else, B4 and B5. And what else? What else? And 22, 21. Our little seam lines on these parts we'll have to do. And anything else? Oh, there was another B part there, I forgot. Let's see, runner. What? 116, what's that? There's this other little bit here in the manual which is confusing. Oops, sorry. It says 116 here. 안녕. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Here you can see it says 116. Oh, maybe you guys can't see that on this part, and why it's highlighted in gray. So I'm just wondering why that's highlighted in gray. So that means that that part needs to go on there first, right? I think that's usually what it's doing there. That the gray parts need to go together first. So that one goes on there first, fine, but then why is there that 116 there? What's that referring to? I don't know. Who needs antennas now? It's all wires. Yeah, I mean, Yeah. So I don't know what's the deal with that, but I guess we'll just go for it. Anyway, and then X1. I feel like that's clear parts, right? Yeah, so I think the clear parts I'll also leave off for the time being. Those go on the front kind of headlights, sort of. And don't want to paint those, so leave those off temporarily. I think my sink over there is leaking or something. I went to I had a couple of boxes, a couple of kits stacked over like next to my sink. Like the sink is on top of like a cabinet. And so I guess like the piping goes down and like it's inside the cabinet there, the counter. And I guess the water had leaked like on the floor and like come out from underneath the cabinet. And so like a couple of boxes that were stacked right next to there now got like waterlogged. So one of my Attack Girl kits, the White Tiger kit, the box is just like completely waterlogged and soaked. So I have it drying out now like right in front of my heater to see if that will like be okay or not, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, everything in the box is fine. It's just the as the plastic is not going to be bothered at all by the box getting wet. But that was a fun surprise yesterday, because actually I went to do the unboxing for that kit. I wanted to build that one next, like among the Attack Girls kits. I wanted to do the White Tiger next, but because the box was waterlogged, I decided, well, I can show it to you guys like that, and you know, I don't really mind. But I figured, well, I'll just build a different one first, and then come back and build the White Tiger when hopefully the box is not looking like it's been like soaking in water. But yeah, let's see. I've got my plan for this is I've got a couple of resin figures that I'm gonna be using with this, and my plan is to have them looking like they're standing in the rain, like they're all in the rain. But I'm struggling in that I'm not sure how I'm going to portray that. How I'm going to portray that they look like they're in the rain, because I mean you'd think, oh, you just gloss coat it and then it'll look like it's wet, but I don't think it's gonna be that simple. I think that it's gonna take a little bit more than that to properly portray the look that they're actually in the rain. So I think that'll be a challenge, but we'll give it a go anyway. Oops. Do you tally how many Gunpla you've built? Thomas, I don't keep track of that, and I don't think I want to know, to be honest. It's a lot, I can say that. Anyway, as for like the rain thing, actually part of the main reason why I wanted to make it looking like it's in the rain is because of the resin figures that I wanted to use with it. One of them is a character who's like molded in a way to look like the clothes are wet. So my idea is to, I mentioned earlier about an open hatch. So my idea is to have them looking like they're standing in the rain, and the two characters are having like kind of their looking like their clothes are kind of wet, and with the Dachshund's arm to be out, the laser cannon arm to be out, and then with the hatch open on the arm to basically serving as like an umbrella to be kind of shielding the two characters underneath from the rain a little bit. Having the hatch open on his arm, I thought would be pretty cool to do like that, so I have to make an open hatch on it. Thomas, you'd love to know how many kits I built. It's in the hundreds, I can say that. Like, I guess I would wonder though. I mean, I'm sure it couldn't be to 1,000. Like, it couldn't be that many. But I wonder. That sounds pretty inconceivable. I'm sure it's not anywhere near 1,000, but at least a couple hundred. All right. Mercenary say you've built nearly 100 so far. That's admirable. What kind of really boggles my mind is the people who build a ton of kits and actually display all of them, because as you guys know, I don't actually have any of mine actually on display. After I build them, I put them back in the box until I paint them, and then after I paint them, I either sell them or give them away. So, painted or unpainted, I just don't really have anything really on display. I really only have a couple of kits on display in here, really, and that's only just because I've not yet sold them. Or I have sold them and I'm just I'm needing to photograph them and or pack them to be sold. Sorry. But what do you like better in the building process? What do you like better, painting or actual building process? It's also fun. Yeah, I mean, honestly, both are a lot of fun. The painting process I love because it's cool to see, you know, everything come together, right? When you're doing like some cool colors and just to see like how your colors are all coming together. That's always nice to see. But I do like just building as well too, just because it's very relaxing. I still owe myself money from my Gunpla purchase last year. Yeah. Hey, Zach, will the RE line, with the RE line seemingly dead, do you think the full mechanics line will be the replacement? No, because I mean, not necessarily, because I think they're different. I think replacement in terms of Bandai's development team, possibly yes. I think possibly the people who were in charge of the development and the production of the RE line, I think maybe were changed over to the full mechanics line. But as far as like on our consumer end, I don't think that it's a replacement, because I think it's just a different line. So like the RE100 line is for all UC era mobile suits, where the full mechanics line is for alternate universes. So we won't see, like, if they are just going to stick to only doing more full mechanics now and no more RE100 kits, then I wouldn't expect to see anything more from the UC timeline, if that makes sense. So in that sense, it's different and not, you know, not exactly a replacement, because I mean, a replacement, I guess it would make me think that, like, it's a different name, but we could still see some of the same stuff, basically. Sort of similar to how the Revive line, the HD Revive line, was kind of replaced by the Gunpla Evolution project. Sort of. Also kind of a little bit different, but... Under the Revive title, we had UC and non-UC stuff. It was just kind of whatever. And same thing with, like, under the Gunpla Evolution project, it's whatever. There's no particular, like, rhyme or reason or whatever to... A little bit of a... little bit of some rough patch here I'm just working on. I like peeling off masking tapes. Well, I certainly don't. Do not like that. Okay, so this part basically just glued right onto the top of there, eh? Then I'm gonna need some tweezers. There's hardly any surface area on this to apply glue onto, but I'll do my best with that. So there's no connection peg or anything to actually plug that on there. There's a little... On this part, there's like little molded circles to kind of indicate where these parts go, so you know where you're supposed to glue it down, but there's nothing like to actually connect it other than just glue. So, yes. Then we need a couple of little screw or bolt details. We'll go ahead and throw a couple of those on here, and then there's a couple more too that were from and on other parts that we'll go ahead and put onto, I guess, while we're at it. So these here are kind of cool. How for like the little bolt details, you've got ones on this flat surface that you can just slice off, or you got ones that are just like your regular kind of molded ones there, which is what I'm gonna go for. I think just try to get a clean cut of that off the runner there. A tiny, I'm not sure if you guys can see that. That's an actual piece that we're gonna stick onto here. That's their little kind of bolts, like rivet detail. Shit, and they're undergated, so it's not as easy as just snipping it off the runner. I've got to get rid of the undergated on there, undergating on there as well too. So we need 3 of those little guys for this, and it's A17. I need that on the front skirt as well too. That one. Kavan said, hope you're doing well. The bolt details are so cool. Yeah, they are very cool. I do like adding them on there because they make for a cool little bit of detail, and you have lots of extras too. So if you want, like, if you prefer or if you like the look, you can add more and more. onto there. Or you can keep your extras, you know, for other custom work or something. I think they would look really good. Basically, I mean, especially anything in 120 scale. So if you had like a 120 scale Mecha kit, adding some of those bolt details onto there would look really nice. So try to remove that undergating on here without sending this tiny little piece into oblivion. Because if one of these were for some reason to go flying across the room, then it's gone. There would be no way to distinguish it from just a scrap little piece of plastic on the floor, which I have many. I really need to vacuum my floor in this room. I was working on the GPO2 yesterday too, so making a mess. Lots of plastic bits all over the place on the floor. So, okay. Alright. Gotta glue these on here. Lay down a little drop of glue there. And carefully with tweezers, just pop that on there. A little tiny drop of glue. And a little bolt. A little drop of glue and a bolt. Shit. Oh no. Whew. It's right here. Good thing it's quiet. Oh, I just dropped it again. Damn. How many times can I drop this and not lose it? I think 2 is the limit, but that's again why I hate using tweezers for parts, because sometimes, you know, it's a tiny part and you absolutely need tweezers. Shit. But my tiny drop of glue there is starting to dry up. But tweezers on plastic is not exactly a good mix. Damn. Alright. Just lay a little bit more glue on those. There we are. Stress. Yes, exactly. A little bit stressful on there. Alright, and we have a couple here on the front skirt as well. I'm going to go ahead and put these on. I skipped doing the other day when we were working on this. There's this slightly larger one. Oi. Which way does that go? Oh, like that. You're sweating. It's like that, what's that meme where it's applying the tiny thing? I know there's that Build Fighters meme with applying the sticker, where like moving it around, and applying the eye sticker. But I feel like there's a similar one, there's like a similar SpongeBob one, isn't there? I can't remember offhand what it is, but my first Gunpla build, Gunpla is an old HG Sandrock, so I picked the cheapest. Ah yes, I have a feeling like old HG wing kits were a lot of first Gunpla for a lot of people, especially kind of our generation. 30s, like early to mid 30s, maybe possibly up to 40s, possibly, and then like maybe late 20s. If you're anywhere in and around a 30, then and especially if you're American, then chances are your first kit was an HG wing kit. Turn over. Shoo. All right. So there we go. Bolts applied. Now back to what we were doing on the body. My first Gunpla was MG Sharazaku for 1995. Oof. Sorry for you. Not that like the old wing HE kits were any better, I guess, but one of the first MGs. Let's see, Sharazaku was no, not the first, but the second or third MG. It's got to be one of the first ones I know. My first was the HG Strike Freedom. I got as a gift. Especially if it's the Revive Strike Freedom though, Cherie. I mean, that's a good one, kind of one to be starting off on. MG Pt.3 for you, Ma.K. I've always been kind of interested in that kit, just because the Pt.3 is a pretty cool design. The kit doesn't look that good though, so holding out hope that there'll be a 2.0 someday. But I don't know if it went. I've been tempted many times to be like, well, I don't know when the 2.0 is ever going to come out, so I think I just need to just try the old one. But then again, I just remember, but it really doesn't look that good. So you don't think it's the Revive, Cherie? It depends. I mean, if you've got the box nearby, you can see the year on the front of the box, then that would be a good indicator. But I know that had to have been fairly recently, right? Sure, because I know you could just kind of recently started building. So if it was recent at all that you got it, then chances are that's probably the Revive version. But yeah, if you've got the box nearby, you can tell pretty easily. 2005. Okay, then yeah, that is the old one. All right, fair enough. Let's see, how does this work? Just right in there like that, eh? Okay. double and triple checking to make sure I'm not gluing this part in here upside down or something stupid. There's that, which is gonna be, I can assume, the part where these hoses in the back of the legs plug up into, probably for that. First Gunpla was the HG Zaku 2 from the Origin. Also, spoiling yourself there with such a good kit as your first kit. It's one of those ones where kind of everything that you build after that's going to be downhill, it seems like. With the HG, the Origin Zaku being a very good HG and certainly one of the best Zaku kits. This kit is literally all the same color. Yes, Eric, it is all the same color. It's all in black except the polycaps, which are gray. And there's a couple of clear parts, but that's all. Yep. So I mean, I guess you could say painting not, technically required if you want it to be all black. But yeah, if you wanted anything other than solid black, gonna have to do a little bit of painting on it. That's it. If there's any kits that would like lend themselves to being all one color, and it's kind of machining Krieger kits, like if you just build this up entirely and just hit it with some, like, whatever color you want. It's like a, I don't know, olive drab color or something, for example, or like a desert color, like a sandy brown color. If you just had it like all completely assembled and just hit it with just like some spray of just all one color like that, it wouldn't look bad. Basically, like everywhere, like all your joints and stuff would be kind of naturally a little bit different color, where the spray paint wouldn't hit them as much. If you're not going in like super detail, like spraying everywhere, but just like giving it like a good kind of general spray over the whole thing. Naturally, the joints and stuff would be kind of shaded from getting more paint, so they'd be kind of a darker color. You'd basically get sort of the effect of like painting the armor and the kind of frame parts, joint parts and stuff separately. You'd get that same effect by just spraying it from a distance, basically, which is kind of cool. I mean, certainly wouldn't give you like the best results, but you could make it work for something simple. If you wanted like a really absolutely like the most simple way to enjoy a machining Krieger kit, you could do that. Minimal effort. And then you just do oh yeah, especially if you've got an airbrush, then you have even more control of where you're spraying, and you could just spray more targeted on only the armor parts and just leave the joint parts and stuff, like I said, just leave them in black. And you could get away with just spraying just one color, and then just go over and do your panel lining and stuff, and bring out some of the details and stuff. There aren't like a lot of panel lines like we typically think of them with Gunpla, being actually lines between panels of armor. This one doesn't really have that. The armor panels are all actually, for the most part, separate panels, so the panel lining would be just more like all the little details and things around on the kit, bringing those out. Love that idea. It's an idea. Again, like not the kind of proper way to paint machining Krieger or anything really, but it would be kind of interesting to do, just as like taking a hyper minimalist approach to painting the kit, and just like seeing how good you can make it look by just only using one color. I think it's an interesting idea. Just like The problem for me, in all honesty though, the problem for me would be for the amount of time that it takes for this step of just building the kit. I would feel kind of a waste. I feel like it just seems like a waste to put in all that time to building it and then just kind of doing a super experimental kind of paint job on it. But I don't know, also because the lack of availability, because these, unless like when the new kit comes out, unless you buy like a couple of it, which I guess is probably like when other stuff comes out in the future, I don't know. I was gonna say I probably should do that so that I can feel better about trying more weird stuff like that. But then again, I really should not buy multiples of anything. But the general lack of availability of them and just kind of the amount of prep work that it takes, and then to go and do a paint scheme like that would, I don't know if I'd be able to bring myself to do it. Maybe on one of the simpler suits, like just a regular SAFS suit or something like that. Something a little bit smaller, cheaper, more simple. Possibly. Almost like miniature painters, you could do like a zenithal. Yeah, exactly. You're basically doing like, you know, essentially the same kind of thing as like zenithal painting, but with just one step. Yeah. Okay, this part goes here, and okay, well, I'll go ahead and cut this part off as it recommends for adding the antenna later. Go ahead and chop that. And I'll have to get my drill. It recommends using a 0.4 millimeter drill, but I think I can just use a 0.5. Because I've got some 0.5. Honestly, let's see. I would like to make, I mean, 0.5 is so tiny, it's kind of like annoyingly small. I would like to make it a little bit bigger if possible. Let's see here. It's a tiny space with not a lot of real estate to work with there, so. Let's see if we can drill this out carefully. I think this is 0.5. Because this drill bit set, it's a little bit hard to tell which one is which, because there's like the numbers here saying which one's 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 1.0, 1.1, 1.2. But yeah, all the numbers are all right next to each other, so it's kind of hard to read, but it should be the third one in the line, so should be right. center at least, so looking good. Just trying to be very careful with this. And how much wire did it recommend? It said to use 6 centimeters. It's very long. Uh-oh. My drill bit's stuck. Ricky B, what's up everyone? How much progress has been done so far? I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, you know, that's the process, just kind of chipping away at it little by little. Add a couple parts here, a couple parts there, and ultimately it'll get there. Not a ton of visible progress probably at this point. That should be good enough. Let's see. Wire cutters here. .5 millimeter. Any progress painting your Sailor Jupiter? Sailor Saturn. Basically everything's all painted, sort of, except for the eyes, which I'm kind of dreading because I'm just not good at that. So no, not much progress yet. That's just kind of sitting there. Yeah, it says 6 millimeter, but I think I'm just going to wing it and see how close did I get with that. Yeah, it's maybe like 5 centimeters, so maybe a little bit shorter than what was recommended, but that's fine. And slightly loose-ish, so I'm gonna add a little tiny, super tiny little bit of super glue on there. Let's see, hang on, sorry, I know there was another question there. Kuster looks amazing, by the way, great job, thank you. I'm really happy with how that came out as well too. There was one. Apparently, my color scheme for the Kuster is gay, according to one commenter, who thought that it looked gay, whatever that means. However, a robot model can look gay, but I mean, that was funny. That was one of those times where someone says something and you just think like, whatever the person says, like their criticism or whatever, says more about them than it does about you. One of those kind of situations. So, yeah, it was just kind of funny. Yes, time traveling from 1996, exactly. Gay as in happy? Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe that's what he meant, because it was certainly a happy mood. That's what I was meaning to portray with that kid, so yeah, maybe that's what he meant. I will admit, though, glad I added that wire, because it definitely does, the antenna definitely does look better than just the piece did originally just by itself. So that'll be cool. I'm wondering though if adding that antenna right now was a good idea though, or if I should have waited to add that later, because now I think probably it's going to be kind of getting in the way and I'm going to be worried about snapping it off or something. but it's on there and it looks cool anyway. It's not kind of straight is the problem, but it's on there. Yes, the shitty ones are the ones we remember. Exactly. I mean, that's true. They are, in a way, more memorable. I don't know, I think because they're less frequent. So, like, which I guess is a good thing. If I was just getting, like, dumb comments like that all the time, then I think they would probably just blur together more and I wouldn't remember it. But because it is a pretty infrequent occurrence, yeah. So this bit needs to go on here. Like that, so that'll be able to move. I guess that's all. This bit on the front, I'm not sure what that is. What is that? Does it say in the manual? No, doesn't say, but I'm sure it's something. Sturgitty, I need you. Are you here? Tell me what that is. Invader Sav says, knowing my ass, I would break it. Break the antenna? I mean, it's probably gonna happen. It's probably just a matter of time. Alright, a couple more parts here to add to our body. These armor flaps, which will go out over the legs. Radar thingamajig, Sturgitty. Thank you. I figured something like that. Some sort of radar related something. Infrared emitter or something like that. Who knows? It's the kind of thing that, there's probably some people out there who would get like super technical about it, but if you actually asked like Koyakama himself, he'd be like, yeah, it's sure, radar, whatever. That kind of thing. It's all just made up. Doesn't really matter. So once we get these last couple parts on the body here, then we'll start work on the head. That'll be a whole other thing. If it looks good, it goes on the kit. Yep. If it looks like it'll fit in overall, then it's good enough to be on there. But I do love, like, when hearing different stories and things like from Lincoln about like working with Koyakama, the creator of Machine and Krieger. It is funny to hear like different stories where you'll hear like talking about that kind of situation where like we're talking about, or like how, you know, the actual design of things is just kind of like, yeah, it's whatever. Or like the legs of like the Kuster and the Kroat, for example, like that being backwards, and how like they know it's ridiculous and doesn't make sense, you know, in reality, but it just looked cool like that. It just looked interesting to have the legs backwards for whatever reason. It's cool to hear things like that, but then also hear things like, I love the story of for Lincoln's kid, I think it was the Sea Pig or something, where he had the broken finger on the suit, or like the one of like the finger manipulator, like fingertips was like broken and hanging off, and Koyokama hated it. It's funny that like it's his thing, very particular about it, but at the same time being very relaxed about it, like, yeah, it's whatever. But then, you know, not exactly whatever looks good to him, basically. Let's see, no fucks given said, a month ago I got back into Gundams. First was the HG Leo. It's a good kit to come back on. And wow, things have gotten better. I got the RG Wing and Goof Custom up next. Nice. Yeah, the HGC Goof Custom, also a fantastic kit. And the RG Wing, I'm not sure which particular version, but you know, they're all basically similar, so yeah. Let's see, now there's a particular left and right side to these. I'm gonna make sure I got it right here. This one goes on this side like that. Actually, easier to put the glue on this part, I guess. See, already I'm bending the antenna. I'm already kind of regretting putting the antenna on there. Damn. Hey, I see Mike Rinaldi there with a retracted message. Not sure what you said, Mike, but hey, what's going on? RG Wing 0 with the feather style wings. Nice. Yeah, I mean, so if you're coming back into Gunpla and you're building a Leo and the Wing 0 custom, I'm gonna venture to guess that you probably were one of the old school Toonami Gundam Wing fans of a similar era as myself and many others. That'd be a correct assessment there. I tried to edit on his spelling. What's going on, Mike? So he said, I snapped my HG Goof custom last night. Yeah. So you can vouch for that as well too, being a very cool kit. Mike, I don't remember talking about this, but have you painted up any Machine Krieger kits? I think I remember you saying that you've like built up a couple of them maybe, but I don't remember if I've seen or heard anything from you about if you've painted any of them. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Let's see, runner. Why? Strange. In the manual it says this is part Y1 and the Y runner is here. Let's see, like this is, they're joined together. This is the Y runner here, and number 1 on the Y runner is a very different part. This is actually number 1 on the Z runner, interestingly. So a little oopsie in the manual there. And actually, shit, now that I think about that, suddenly remembering that there was an amendment page in the manual for parts related to the body that I probably put on wrong. Let's see, hopefully not. Oh, yeah, well, no, yeah, well, that's adjusted, yeah, the Y, that's changed to the Z one, which is correct. Everything else on here, though, looks fine so far. Okay, I didn't mess anything up so far. that's good. So it basically just was that one part they were correcting. Whew! Built a few, none painted yet. Yep, they're more work to build, and I keep customizing extra stuff. Yeah, I know. That's the. I mean, it's because of the nature of the design. I'm always, you know, very tempted to change things and things like that. And it is fun to do that, but I think just because of the property just being what it is. I mean, it's very tempting to want to keep the kits like as they are canonically, but it's also really tempting to want to change some bits. So I think and this is probably what a lot of people do, I'd imagine. I mean, I know Lincoln does this, and I know Sturgetty's done this, and in the builds we took we looked at his builds yesterday, and in his SAFS he did this as well too, but just like changing or adding some little thing without changing a lot. It's like adding a couple little parts or just changing a couple little very small minor things like that. Yeah, it's one of those kind of situations. It's always tempting to want to change something on them, I think. But usually, I feel like you can scratch that itch pretty well by just adding something small and still keeping it pretty much as it is out of the box. Actually, this is the armor panel which goes on the back. Yeah, which I'm not sure I want to add onto this or not. Let me see. But hey, Mike, while you're here, I'll ask you a question about this. I was mentioning earlier that my plan for this build is that I want to have it looking like it's in the rain. Do you have any advice on that for how to paint something or how to do the finish on it in a way to make it look like it's wet in the rain? I think probably like the most convincing in the rain things that I've seen are where the people like actually build a thing like around the model to give the illusion of rain, like a 3D illusion of that. But I don't want to do that. It's like we don't need to necessarily see the rain falling, but just they need to look wet, so that, yeah. Looks like that. I talked a little bit with Aaron, our friend down under there, Weathered As, a little bit about this the other day. So I figured he would have some good insight on it as well too, but I'm just trying to ask around to some friends who I know have extensive for rain, go with half dry, half wet. The base can help with resin water effects. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of the general thought that I was getting from Aaron as well too. Is that you can't just like gloss coat the entire thing, but the gloss should be really super thin and just kind of, you know, directional. Obviously, all the top of everything. Yeah, showing it transitioning to full wet is more interesting in my opinion. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Mike, that'd be appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, but some very, very thin gloss coat and just sort of, you know, applied directionally so that it looks like, you know, the tops of everything, you know, obviously would be wet. And suppose like around the feet or something like that, obviously it would kind of be wet all over. near the ground where it's all splashing. Now the other thing here is that we were supposed to drill some holes, and I don't know why I didn't do that, but for whatever reason I didn't drill the holes in the back of this before. Why didn't I do that? Because you're supposed to drill them out from the inside, I guess, probably, but it doesn't say that, and actually you can't. Just based on how these parts go together, you weren't not able to drill them out, so you just kind of have to wing it, apparently. Coming up some form of raindrop impact is pretty, if done well. Yeah. You mean like on the ground, to like basically use your water effect to make like it's like splashing a little bit, the tiny little raindrops. So shit. Yes, again with the holes. And what do I need? 1.2 millimeter it says, so we're once again just going to use 1 millimeter, should be enough. And what we can maybe do, which might be helpful, is actually use a little bit of glue, since we've got it here. Put a little bit of glue on the end of the pegs here, then stick it down, and the glue will make a mark. Sorry, the glue will make a mark that will let us know where we need to drill. I just need to make sure everything's kind of lined up. Not enough glue. The glue dried too fast. But the problem is this peg is very small, so it's not much glue I can put on there. Something like that. I don't know if you guys can see that then. Sorry, I don't know if you could see that very well. Maybe you can see the two little shiny dots of glue there. So yeah, to know where I need to drill the holes to peg this, I just put a little tiny bit of drop of glue on the end of the peg and kind of stick it on there where it needs to go, and it'll make a... You could also do the same thing with paint, but since I've got glue right here, it's one easy way to do that. Yeah, Sturgetty said, haven't built any light type grocer Hunds. Yeah, so the original grocer Hund, which I got here, I guess I can reference. The original grocer Hund kit doesn't have anything to... It doesn't have a part that covers the back of it, is that right? Like this has. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't have that. Alright, fair enough. I think on the ground, maybe on the suit too, like the shoulders, the head, if you want to show like it's raining or this one. Okay, yeah. Just having little splashes. I mean, I guess you could kind of, you know, making that just with like your super glue. Hey Dad, I see my dad's watching on Facebook. Hey Dad. Super glue, yeah, I mean I thought about that too. One way to get this panel on the back of here without drilling holes, but maybe just cut the pegs a little bit shorter and just glue it straight onto there without actually putting holes in there. Yes, that is another way I could have gone about doing it as well too, but this will work just fine. And also I think I can also possibly get away with doing that and basically just putting 2 holes in here, not doing not worrying about all 4, because 4 holes is a lot more stuff to line up than just worrying about just only 2. we'll see. Let me get these in here and see if it looks straight. Then I'll be happy enough with that as it is. I think it's gonna be okay. I wish Ma.K was more readily available as Gunpla is. Yeah, Aaron, it's kind of just a matter of number one, it's just not as popular in general. I mean, without like an anime series to help sell it, that's gonna be one issue. And number two, it's just produced by smaller companies. All right, well that's a pretty good fit on there. It's a bit too angled though. See, I guess I need to angle my holes a little bit differently so that I kind of went just straight in with those. I should have put them at more of an angle. Like this. Or we can just bend it a little bit, but yeah, that's better. All right. Okay. Interesting. So these little bits here on the inside, I know it's gonna be hard to see because everything's all black. You can see these like kind of tabs on the inside of there too. Basically serve as like stands to keep this, so like you know the distance it needs to be from this, because that's like holding it up against this back engine kind of radiator part there. Cody says, I've only built the Friedrich. I've got, yes, the Friedrich is also here next to me in my to-do queue as well. And let's see, did that work? Ooh, nice, that worked. The Friedrich being a design that I'm not really as that big of a fan of the Friedrich, to be honest. Maybe that would be a good one to just kind of do a quick build of, and just the experimental paint job we were talking about earlier, of it being just like just trying to do like a one color only paint job. It could be something, a suit that I don't mind quite so much of sort of experimenting on, because I'm not as much of a fan of the design. So, and I think this is basically the last part we need to add here onto the body, other than just like these parts here, which I need to remove the seam on, so I just got to put some glue on them. And need to remove the seam on those later, kind of like headlamp parts there. I'm just gonna have to be very careful with that antenna and try not to snap that off during the whole process of working on this kit. Because when I was working on the Cooster, if any of you guys have built the Cooster or the Croat or any of the different variants, see you later, Mike. Off for dinner. Okay. Yes, chat soon. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys have built any, or if you're just familiar with the Cooster or the Croat or any of those variants that have that the computer part on the side, on the left side of it, it's got the computer section there, and there's like a little kind of wire that comes out. It comes out and it's like a loop, and it gives you the wire. It gives you like the rod included to just make that yourself as like a separate piece, just out of brass instead of using the plastic one. But I just opted for the plastic one. I thought, I'll be fine. And I was fine for most of the time, but I did end up breaking it off a couple times and re-gluing it back on. So I'm a bit nervous about sending that kit in the mail. I'm pretty positive that's going to snap off no matter how well I pack that kit. Kind of feel a bit of a shame to cover up that cool detail in there, but there it is anyway. And I think that's kind of about it for the body. Basically, yeah, aside from those headlamp parts. So now we can stick this together and put the arms on there and see how it's looking. Like that. Do we need to drill bigger holes for the arms? Because those arms don't fit on there like that. I think we need to drill those holes out a bit larger. Or is there something else that goes in there? Oh, the arms aren't connected there. I was thinking the arms are connected right onto the side of here, but that's not right. What is? Oh, that's where the Panzerfaust. That's where the Panzerfausts are connected. Oh, so we can't apply the arms quite yet, actually. Anyway, that's all done. Arms are all done. Let's work on the head, and then we can build the whole. There's a whole other section kind of that connects the head and the arms, all that. So still have a little bit more to do then, I guess, yet. Head. All right. On our Z runner, we are gonna need these parts. And I think that's what's on the amendment here. This also seems to be just because the runner label is wrong. In the manual it says runner Y where it's supposed to say runner Z. And vice versa. I think that's kind of the only problem. Let me just see here. Otherwise, yeah, everything looks the same. Yeah. Alright, runner Q is this one. Part number 4 and 3 and 4. These big parts here. Anything else? Also Q5 and 6. And Q19. Basically all of our head parts here seem to be all kind of located around here on the Q runner. And let's see, Q1 and 2 here as well for like our ears on the Dachshunds, kind of floppy ears on the side of the head. And what else? Let's see, Q7, Q10, S1. Q7 is a very brittle piece here that I think is also probably going to be better replaced with brass later, that little bar. And let's see, what was that? Q10 was the other one. So this, I believe, is just the regular Dachshund, or the regular Grosser Hund face part here that you could use if you prefer. So I think you could probably still just make this as the regular Grosser Hund. Let me see. Okay, I think, yeah, that's all. And there's a couple other bits then, though, that we'll need to add later on as well, too. But for the moment, yeah, for the moment, that'll give us enough to work on here. Zachary and Florida are still Korea. Invaders have still in Korea and still will be in Korea for quite a while yet. We're not moving quite yet until towards the end of the year. just cutting out all the parts here for this though, it's certainly, the head seems very larger than I was kind of imagining this whole head section would be. It's got kind of a big head. Let's see. This model is quite different. Is it more like those car models that you need to glue everything? Alan, yes, it's more like a traditional model where you need to glue kind of everything. Yes. Probably more comparable a bit to, I mean, I don't know really what would be a good comparison, but I don't know, in a way more comparable to a tank model, an armor, than a car, but yeah. You need to glue a lot of stuff. There's parts of the kit are just you can snap build, but you are definitely going to need a lot of glue. Trying to sand this this very delicate little bar piece there. It's very different. Like the old Gunpla kits that need glue. Yeah. Kind of. I think the difference with those old Gunpla kits is probably the parts count. These have a lot of these little detail parts and things that you're adding on, whereas like the old Gunpla kits, the part count is pretty low. It's basically just a few large pieces that go together. I guess like some of the, especially like the 1/44 scale MSV kits, maybe have a little bit higher part count, something like a Desert Zaku or something like that, or like the backpack is a little bit more complex. In general, I would say like the complexity and the number of pieces and things added onto it is a lot more than the old Gunpla kits. I think these are closer to tanks or military craft models in terms of building process. Yeah, Invader Sav. Just agreeing that it's similar to armor and military models and compared to like civilian things like cars or motorcycles or stuff like that, for example. With those things, and I've never, to be fair, never built any, so just from what I understand, with things like cars and motorcycles, a lot of the building process is like stuff on the inside, and then like obviously especially for cars, it's like the outer chassis would be kind of relatively simple, maybe only a couple pieces, right? This is a lot more different, where you have to build a lot of different sections of it, kind of that all come together. So I guess in that way, a tank model would be kind of similar to a car in that you're just kind of all building it as one thing, and not really a lot of sections necessarily. And I guess you have like a few sections, like I don't know what they're called because I'm not experienced with this at all, but you have like the main body and like the top part, and then the tracks would be kind of separate sections as well too, I guess. And it depends on which tank. It's a lot of different kinds of tanks, but I should probably just stop talking about the subject matter because I'm so uninformed about it. But you guys get my point anyway, you get what I mean. So for all these parts here for the head, for the moment I'm just cutting off all the nubs and everything on here. Corey said, I almost picked up a military helicopter today. I love military vehicles. I don't know, I just have never been tempted. It's not appealing to me, military model kits. Every once in a while I may see like a tank or something that I think looks kind of cool, but never, even still, never enough to the point where I actually will want to buy it. Zach needs Ricola. Is my voice a little hoarse today? It sounds like probably a little bit hoarse today, I don't know. I hope I'm not getting sick. I guess it wouldn't be a bad, if I had to get sick, it wouldn't be a bad time to get sick, because the reason why I think it could be that I might be getting sick is because my son has had a cold this week. So it's very possible I could be catching a cold off my son. But the reason why it's not a terrible time to be sick is because also my son is also related to my son because he's on school spring vacation from his preschool. I know it's weird. Here in Korea, the spring vacation is like usually the latter half of February, or it depends on the school. Like for elementary school, like middle, high school, whatever. Anyway, it's usually like the latter half of February. For just like a preschool, whatever, it's just for like 9 days, something. So I'll be home for Friday, tomorrow. I'll be home with him, and then a couple of days next week too. I'll be home with him as well too. So I'll just be staying at home. So it's not a bad time to be sick while I'm just hanging out at home with him. Compared to if I were like needing to work, if I was just not with him, then I'd be in here working with a cold, which sucks. So. Is it cold where you are? Yeah, it's cold here. It's winter. Korea is deciduous. We have 4 seasons here. Military model kit's kind of hard to paint, no part separation. I mean, yeah, it's similar to painting something like this, depending on how you do it. A lot of people will build their machine or paint their machine Krieger kits basically all as one piece as well too. So like the Kuster, for example, when I was painting that, I painted that basically just in 2 sections. I had the top half and the bottom half separated, and I was just painting it like that. So not too different, at least for painting this kit compared to how you would paint a tank or something. Astope says -6 in Busan. Yeah, I don't think it's that cold here, but I don't know, Busan's usually pretty warm, and I'm also on the south coast, so whatever it is in Busan, it's probably pretty similar to what it is here. It could be that cold, maybe, but I don't think so. You're also, I am also on the south coast, but I think Busan being kind of on the south east coast, you're also getting that wind coming from the east, probably making it very cold there as well too. Here where I am at, we're shielded from that by the mountains, so that's one thing that I'm gonna miss a lot about Korea is the mountains, though, I'll tell you. Coming from the Midwest, coming from Illinois, where there's no mountains and it's just flat, it's so nice to come here to Korea where it's just mountainous everywhere. And to move and then back to Florida where it's flat. I think it's probably even flatter, and at least in that area of Florida where we're gonna be on the Atlantic coast. Maybe up in the Panhandle or something it's a bit more hilly, but at least on the Atlantic coast it could be even flatter than it is in the Midwest. At least in the Midwest we have like some hills kind of. I think someone once said, let's see, Aaron has a nice comment here. Someone once said Maschinen Krieger was Gunpla for armor modelers. I get the idea of that, yeah. Have you ever oversliced a part using a hobby knife? Yes, of course. Yeah. Yes, of course. Even, you know, after now building hundreds of models, you'd think I'd be beyond that, but no, certainly, yeah, I still have that happen every so often. I'll be overzealous with the knife while I'm removing my nub marks and slice out a little bit too much of the plastic. Yeah, it happens. But the one thing I'll say is that with experience, you get a good feel for kind of when that's more dangerous than not. After you've done it so many times, you kind of like just every time you go to slice off a nub, you can kind of immediately identify if this is where that could happen, where it could be a problem. So, well, it does still happen every now and then. Unfortunately, I think pretty good at being able to identify when it could be a danger and hopefully avoiding it. So we got a polycap here. We're going to have to glue these two halves of the head together. That polycap was a little bit not fitting in there super well. I'm worried about the other half. Nah, it's okay. Alright, good. But now we need to pull that back apart again. Don't think about getting sick, then you won't get sick. Yeah, that'd be nice if it worked like that, Corey. I do agree with that sentiment to a degree, though. That I don't think that you can have complete, mental control over your body. I know there's some people and believe that you can will yourself to get over a cold or will yourself to your body to be one way or the other, whatever. I don't think that that's the case, but I do think that there is probably something to be said for, how your mindset affects the condition of your body. I think there's probably something to that. I think that whole this whole back half is all gonna be covered up. I don't need to worry about removing that seam on there, actually. But these parts also have a seam here. Shoot. And those are gonna be harder to get to this seam here on the side. Oops. Once that's glued on there. Alright. Yeah, anyway. They say JH Mala, flatlands weird me out, come up to the mountains and hang out in Asheville. Asheville where? Is that part of the panhandle of Florida? Is that in Florida, or where's Asheville? Does not ring a bell for me, sorry to say. Oof. Kind of weirdly shaped parts here for the kind of base of the head. But anyway, there go those. Asheville, North Carolina? Question mark. Pump yourself with vitamins, tea, citrus. Actually, speaking of citrus, yeah, I could go for some yuja cha. Yuja is like a Korean citrus fruit. Yuja cha is, yeah, it's just like sort of like lemonade, but of like it's hot. And well, not always hot. You can get cold. I think probably what's usually hot. Asheville, North Carolina, or Asheville, Alabama. Anyway, yeah, yuja cha. It's really good. Yuja tea. Do I like the food in Korea? Yeah. I mean, I have to. Been here for like 10 years. If I didn't like the Korean food here, then I'd be pretty hungry. There's plenty to eat aside from Korean food, of course, but especially working at a public school where like you're eating school lunch, like that's what there is for lunch. I think I can put these parts together like that and then add this part in here later, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I'll leave out the front part of that. Have some juke? Yeah, I do like juke. Yeah. Even when I'm not sick, that's like... I usually have juke when I'm sick, but even when I'm not sick, I do like it, but we usually don't have it unless I'm sick. It would suck if you didn't like the food there. Yeah, it would. As I don't like spicy food, so usually people are always like, how do you live in Korea if you don't like spicy food? But there's a lot of non-spicy food here as well too. So, like, obviously Korea is famous for spicy food, especially kimchi, of course. It's usually spicy, but even kimchi, there's many different kinds of kimchi, and there's a lot of different varieties that are not spicy, fortunately. But even the non-spicy ones I don't necessarily really like all that much. Tricky to get these parts together to get rid of this seam here, but seam on the Dachshund snoot. There you go. It's basically that. Stick that up to the side. Let's see. Love spicy food, but doesn't like me. Although I thought I would be. Screw there. Yeah. I'm kind of the same way, a little bit. And I also sometimes I like spicy food. Some of it, like there are some spicy Korean foods that I do like. What I don't like is where it's just like painful to eat. It's just like not enjoyable at all. But there's some stuff that's like a little bit spicy that I do really like the taste of, but just the problem is, it just gives me terrible stomachache. North Carolina, as far as I know, the mountains end before Florida. Yeah, I would imagine so, yeah. Alright. And kind of the rest of the parts here for the head I can't really do a whole lot with at the moment, really, kind of until those seam lines are gone. So that may be kind of about all that we can really do at the moment. Until I'm able to do some more sanding and stuff, so that's kind of about it for that. Where my little tray of parts go. So for now, stick these parts to the side. That need some further sanding and stuff. From where I come from, I can easily consume Korean food. Spicy stuff is common here. Yeah, certainly spicy food is common in other parts of the world as well too. In the South, I know, in America. Of course, it's also famous there. I love the fact that these armor panels on the side of the head look like dog ears on it. It's pretty classic. I wonder if that was maybe part of the inspiration, because I think the Grosser Hund has also, I mean, kind of dog theme, I guess, in general with this series. What's the other one? The Altair, that's not dog theme at all. The Vega, and the what's the other one? Don't tell me. Kyclop. Those are, I guess, not dog themed names for those, I suppose. I found a wasp this morning under my hobby desk. Yikes. Hate bees and wasps, all that stuff. Kind of bugs in general, I guess. That said, I did recently start watching this YouTube channel. I forget what's the name of it is, but where this guy like reviews different stuff as pets, different bugs, insects, lizards, reptiles, frogs, weird little stuff that's not like typical pets. But he like rates and reviews them as pets. You guys, I mean, it's I know it's a stretch, but any of you guys also familiar with that channel? I forget what the name of it is. It's pretty weird, and the guy is super weird, but like it's interesting to watch, and like he's kind of captivating in a way. I don't know, I think just because of his passion for the subject matter, I guess, but he's super weird. It's a cool channel. I mean, even though I'm not a fan of spiders and all that kind of stuff, but just his videos on the subject matter are cool. What's going on, Chefster? Let me see if I can find it here real quick. So I'll recommend it to you guys. This is a cool channel, but offhand, anyone know? Please send me that. Sounds like my channel. Yeah, it's a cool channel. I mean, it's just something interesting to see. Let me see if I can find it here. Here it is. Clint's Reptiles. Yes. Here you go. It's out of focus. Maybe this will be better, this camera. Clint's Reptiles. Check it out. There's a lot of wild stuff. Let's see. Actually, I recently just watched his review recently of the Starry Night Reed Frog. I thought the camo pattern on that reed frog looks really cool, and I was actually considering doing that as the camo paint scheme for this kit after watching that video. Is he Australian? No, he's not Australian. I think he's American. But yeah, or like other things like the tailless whip scorpion. So weird, gross looking. But yeah, it's a cool channel. So shout out to Clint. I mean, if you just watch the videos, he's very weird, but seems like a cool guy. Just like I don't know, just like the way his face and the way he talks when he's talking. I don't know. It always looks very excited It's like, you know, I have like, I'll say like, I know it's a kind of demeaning term for women, but the resting bitch face. It's like he has resting ecstatic face. It's kind of weird. Dan just said, I'm mulling over a few ideas for the Zaku 1, and I'm thinking of somehow giving it origin articulation. You were talking about like the old Zaku 1 HG kit, I guess. Have you watched the army ration guy? Just are you talking about the guy who eats like 50-year-old army rations or something? I think like I've seen part of a video once, and that's about it. Just got my first perfect grade the other day, and I'll probably start it this week. The Strike Freedom. Ah, yes, the Strike Freedom perfect grade. It was a very forgettable build, in my opinion. I built one ages ago, and I just wasn't all that impressed with it. I don't know, but I think but I've seen it done really super well. So I think I got it because I just wanted, at the time, it was just kind of an impulse buy, I think, a little bit. I wanted just something big to work on, because I've never really been that big of a fan of the Strike Freedom. But if you are a fan of the Strike Freedom, then yeah, it's certainly a cool kit, or big, impressive kit. But for me, I don't know, it didn't really do a whole lot for me. I watched the ration guy. He's awesome. Yes, just interesting what they have in rations through the ages from different countries. Yeah. Actually, currently building that as well. Kind of boring, to be honest, but well built. Mike, are you talking about the perfect grade Strike Freedom as well? I don't know. Yeah, it seems a bit like kind of. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just kind of get this feeling it's got a bit of that, like the forgotten PG. That when people talk about PGs, they don't really talk about the Strike Freedom that much. It seems like people always talk about like the Strike, the Astray, the original Gundam, even the Zaku. Like the perfect grade Zeta will come up every now and then if people are talking about bad kits. Like, especially bad perfect grades. Obviously, the newer perfect grades, the Unicorn, the Exia, and stuff as well, too. But, like, as far as, like, a little bit older perfect grades, I don't know. Yeah, just feel like people don't talk about the Strike Freedom all that much. There's a weird mold line on this part that I'm trying to get rid of. Like, just goes like across the corner of this in a very strange location, and it's kind of proving to be a little bit difficult. It's right over this tiny little bolt detail. I guess what I could do is just, what would make it a lot easier to get rid of the mold line is just completely cut off and get rid of the bolt detail on there, and then just reapply a new bolt. Would be probably much easier to do, actually. But I think it'll be okay. I feel PGs are more popular in the West than the East. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. From my experience, it seems about the same. I'd say East to West, and especially outside of Japan, anywhere outside of Japan, the general feeling towards perfect grades seems about the same from my experience of what I just hear like from my audience, even in the West or the East. That honestly, perfect grades seem to be a lot more exciting for people who are newer to the hobby. I don't know. And it certainly was the case with me as well too. When I was younger and when I was newer into the hobby, I was a lot more excited about perfect grades because they seemed like this like super cool, unattainable thing because it's just so big and expensive, and so it's kind of has like this kind of revenance to them. I don't know if that's maybe the right word, but once you get into the hobby more and like start enjoying a lot of what the other lines have to offer, you start building a lot of cool master grades and tons of really nice HGs and stuff as well too. Then perfect grades being this like amazing, big, huge, fancy, shiny, expensive thing. Kind of, I don't know. It's not that appealing. It's cool if it looks cool, but yeah, I think like when you're kind of newer into the hobby and it's all very exciting, you're trying out new kits, like building your first MG and it's really cool, and you build your first RG and like you're really amazed by its technology, and you see perfect grades like in this light of like, man, that's the ultimate kit. That's like the ultimate technology that I'm kind of like working up to building these other grades. You know, that's like the goal of a beginner Gunpla fan, is to like work your way up to building a perfect grade, as in like it's like this kind of big fancy thing, but you know, it's just a big master grade with more parts basically. You get what I mean? You guys get what I mean? Anyway, it's not to say that perfect grades aren't cool and that it's wrong to like perfect grades or anything like that. If you like it, then cool. Yeah, it's called perfect grade. Yes, exactly. I think Dachshund, that's right. The name is also kind of what causes people to have that reverence towards perfect grade, is the name, right? Been building kits for years, but only wanted the PG of Strike Freedom since I got into Seed recently and just wanted a big kit to try. I only plan on getting the perfect Strike. Yeah, I mean, they certainly can be fun, especially if you have a good display space for Gunpla. If you have like some nice cabinets, nice big space for displaying them, having some big massive PGs in there certainly look cool. Yes, I can understand that. That's exactly it. What did you say, Shuri? That's exactly it. For me, that's what I'm aiming for, to get to the point where I feel confident enough to build my PG Arxenate 2. That got as a gift and sitting in storage. Well, yeah, don't wait too long. If you want to build it, just build it, because there's really not that much to be concerned about in terms of like waiting to build something. Let's see, Z3, Y3, and 4. If you can build, what was that? 3 and 4. If you can build an MG, then you can build a PG. And if you can build an HG, then you can build an MG. If you can build an RG, then you can build anything. So don't sweat it too much, basically, is the point. More parts count means more nub marks to clean, yeah. And that's basically the extent of it. I mean, honestly, building something like this is more difficult, and even still, difficult doesn't seem like the right word, because it's not difficult, it's just different anyway. But for lack of a better word, building something like this is more difficult than building a PG, to be honest. So PG, you know, you can follow the instructions, easy enough, you just have loads of parts. Because they're so well made. With this, stuff like this, unfortunately, sometimes the instructions are not super clear, or like you'll have to glue parts, or you have to consider when to glue parts depending on like how you're planning on painting the kit. Like you might want to glue some parts straight away, and some other parts you might want to leave off until later, after you started the painting or whatever. With Gunpla, usually you're almost never painting like the full kit all put together. You're kind of assumed that you're going to be breaking it all down into separate pieces again when you're going to paint it, or at least breaking it down quite a bit. Just in terms of the painting it. I mean, that's only even assuming that you're painting. Even if we're not talking about painting and just the general building of the kit, then yeah, like doing something like this is more difficult than a PG. Just a lot more involved, I guess. What's going on, Alex? I see you there. How are you holding up there in Gwangju, Alex? I've heard that the corona cases are on the rise there. I assume you're still able to work, right, Alex? Friggin' snow, yeah. Snowy too. Aside from the corona cases being on the rise, yes, the snow, I guess, also. Let's see. Are Gundam kits from Gundam Zeta good? I saw a kit called the RG Zeta Gundam, and it looks super cool. Sorry if I'm screwing up any terminology. Bean. The RG Zeta gets quite a bad rap in the community as being probably the weakest in the RG line, just because apparently it's very finicky and it comes apart very easily. That said, you know, if you really like the design, I would not recommend you to avoid the kit. I mean, if you like it, then just go for it. Even if it's got some loose parts or something like that, you can glue things, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. If you're really a big fan of the Zeta Gundam design, though, maybe the Master Grade 2.0 would be a better bet. Gonna be a little bit more expensive, but a much more enjoyable build, I'd say. The HG Zeta Revive kit actually is an amazing kit as well too. I think it's not called Revive, it's just called the Gunpla Evolution Project version or whatever, but the HG is a really nice kit. Just make sure you're getting the newer HG, not the old one. But the newer HG kit is really, really nice, actually. Let's see. We are supposed to snap the fit before painting, Josh Street? So you're talking about like Gunpla, are you supposed to snap fit before painting? I mean, there's no rule for it. I always do, and I always recommend to do so, but you don't have to build the kit before you paint it. If you want to just go straight into painting, you could do that. But I find it's helpful to build first. Gives you a clearer sense of what you're doing when you go to paint it. you're more familiar with the kit after already having built it. Let's see. This part needs to go on here. Try and find that transforming kits are best just to assemble and forget about them. Yeah, I mean, some people like transforming stuff. I don't really like transforming stuff all that much, so yeah, I agree. Transforming stuff just not really that appealing to me. Alright, so that's all the kind of pieces we're going to worry about for the head for now. Then we basically just have the shoulder assembly and then the weapon assembly. So I'll start working on the shoulder assembly here a little bit, but I'm going to finish up in about 30 minutes or so for today. Let's see, so are we going to need that part A7? Yes. A7, and what about A4? Yes. Wanting to know if we're going to need these last couple parts off this runner, because that means that runner is done. Bye bye. Oof. Oh, I can hear it. It's crazy windy outside. Oh no. Let's see, A34. Looks like a weird bug. Zach, Facebook stopped broadcasting live suddenly. Oh, really? Did it? That's weird. Hopefully you don't have to commute too much during lockdown. Tony said, I missed the snow after years really of no snow, and now I'm tired of shoveling it. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that happens, eh? 3738. Although, you know, we used to get a lot more snow in like Illinois, where I'm from, but where I'm at here in Korea, we don't really get much snow. So, like, I'm happy about that. Oh, shoot. Where does this go? Sorry. But I don't think I'm gonna miss snow, to be honest. A26, where does that go? Ah, there. Yeah, oh, we still get a little bit of snow here, not that much. So like, so far living here in Korea, I've not felt like, oh, I miss the massive snowfalls we used to get in Illinois. And I don't think it's going to be the case where after moving to Florida I'm going to be like, oh, I miss the little bit of snow we used to get in Korea. Q. And Q22. It's a number of very small, delicate pieces on this part of the construction, it looks like. Q, let's see. It's N. N. N 20 and 23 and see N2, those ones go on the head later. N11 goes here on the shoulder. What's this 116? I'm noticing this, I mentioned this earlier, I'm noticing it again here. There's a little bit where it has the 116 on something. I don't know what that's referring to. Any of you guys know or have any idea? Zach don't know about Florida, but South Texas is along the border, getting below 70 for the high in the winter is once in a blue moon. Yeah, it's gonna be hot in Florida, no doubt, all the time, which I'm kind of fine with. I don't really like cold weather. I much prefer hot weather, and so I'm kind of okay with that. I'm sure there'll be times, you know, no doubt, where I'll be like, oh, I'm tired of it being so hot all the time. But I think I'll be okay. Let's see, also W3. And oh, Q18, yes. This crazy little part there. What about Q20 and 21? Where do those go? Oh, on the head as well too. Let's go ahead and just pop those off so I can toss this runner. Their little head bits. Grosser Hund faceplate. Don't need that. We can just toss that in the box. Go to Q23. Are we using that on here or not? Maybe not. Q23. Huh? We are using that. But where? Here? Huh. On the back. Also, let's see. Oh, yes, indeed. still quite a few pieces still to add on yet to the body, so this one as well will need to stick on a little bit later. Anyway. Southeast Asia is just hot. Florida has bugs that you can fist fight. Oh no, don't say that to me. I'm already worried about alligators. Don't get me worried about bugs and stuff too. Yeesh. Honestly, just more worried about alligators, obviously, just like for my kids, related to my kids when they're going around. You know? I'm pretty confident in myself in if I ever were to cross paths with a gator, I could just punch it right in the mouth and be done with it, but you know, my little kids don't have that strength. And I have a feeling my son would be the doofus one to be playing around by the water and the gator jumps up on him. I have a sneaking suspicion that my son is a bit like me. He's a bit of a goofy idiot at times, so, you know, means well, but he's gonna get himself into trouble by just being dumb. Not dumb, it's not like stupid, I guess I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean. By just being goofy. He's gonna have to learn, as I once did, to not be the class clown. You have to live near a lake, a river, or a pond, or some canals to see gators. Well, the area where we're going to be living is kind of all of the above. And unless it's a small gator, you're not going to punch it in the mouth. Hey. Chris, you don't know about my punch in the mouth abilities, alright? And I don't think you want to know. Just do yourself a favor and don't jump up out of the water at me. Because that's when you get into trouble. Do you plan on doing meetups when you're back in the States? Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know if it'll be like meetups, but I plan on like attending events and stuff, so yeah, I'll be around. Definitely. You know, assuming we can ever go back to like having events, like, you know, Comic-Con and GBWC events, things like that, anywhere where there's gonna be like Gunpla stuff happening. I'm sure I'll be bit of a USA Gundam Store ambassador sort of there, and also just kind of there. I don't know. I'm not going to I don't know, hype myself up or anything, but I imagine I will probably be invited to judge different contests. If it's like a GBWC event or something like that, I don't know. Or just be a guest or giving a panel or something like that at different events in the US. I can assume that's probably going to, those kind of opportunities are going to come up more once I'm in the US, because as it is now, with me not being there, for those kind of events, for them to have the budget to bring people in from outside of the country, it's expensive. So what is the scene for Gunpla convention stuff like in the US? I've never looked into it. Well, I've also never been to one, but just based on what I've seen, I mean, it's pretty good, pretty cool, and growing too. So I mean, aside from need to sand this little part and I can't get a good hold on it. Yeah, aside from it growing, the interest and people's abilities. What I mean is that it's growing in the sense of like the quality of work you're seeing there, and also the amount. So growing interest, and also kind of we're starting to catch up a bit. It's something we talked about, I think, on a previous episode, a live stream with Adam. We were talking about, I don't know, I think how things compared with Japan or something, for example. And you just have to remember that like Gunpla in Japan has been like a massive thing for 40 years. So like you have a lot of really amazing builders and things over there. Like number one, they have very easy, immediate access to everything, tools and supplies and everything like that. Everything they could possibly want, they can get very easily. But of course, it's not just all about the tools that you have. It's all about the learned techniques and experience, things like that. But they've had it like in their blood and in their culture for decades. So like you see a lot of these master builders, they're probably in their 30s, 40s, and they've been building since they were 6. So it's not so much the case in the US. I think like if someone in the US has been building for 10 or 15 years, then that's pretty long. Gunpla modelers, and there's not that many people around who have been building Gunpla for that long. MomoCon in Atlanta, Georgia has a Gundam room. Yeah. And this past year we were supposed to USA Gundam Store was supposed to host an event as well too. It was going to be a big event there. So it's a shame that we weren't able to do that. I was planning on going. But even this year, I don't know. I think Adam still wants to do it. Hopefully this year. But I'm not sure. I actually haven't talked to him a whole lot about that. Do you have a color scheme in mind for the Dachshund? Mulambo, not yet, actually. I was just mentioning just a little bit earlier that based on the video I was watching on, what was it? Clint's Reptiles is the name of the channel I was talking about. He did a review of the Starry Night, what was it? Starry Night Leaf Frog, I think was the name of it. I thought it was a really cool color pattern. I thought would be kind of interesting for this. Basically, it's a color pattern of like black and neon yellow. It's pretty wild. I don't know how good it would look on this, but it's interesting. How old Kawaguchi is 40 years ago? Kawaguchi, I think, he's probably around 60 now. So when Gundam came out, he was, I don't know, probably around a teenager or something like that. He's got to be at least 50, in his 50s, I guess I would imagine, or maybe close to 60. So. Don't need to have a Volkswagen advert for you guys, but I'll just show you the Starry Night Leaf Frog I was talking about. Starry Night Reed Frog, that's what it is, sorry. Here, this guy. Yeah, you can see like that. There. It's pretty cool. Like the underside is kind of like a pale whitish, yellowish kind of, and I know it's really bright for you guys there, but the top is a mix of like a neon greenish yellow kind of and black. Pretty wild looking. There you go. Shoot, like that. Could be pretty cool. Black and yellow are always good together. Yes, just like my man Wiz Khalifa says, black and yellow are good together. Alright, as for these shoulder sections now, that's not subtle. It's not subtle. And yes, that's the thing. It's a cool color pattern, but it's very vibrant. So yeah, super contrasty with that like fluorescent yellow, green, and then black. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant. It looks really cool. I'm not sure how well it'll look on this kit. And I also said, if you guys remember all the way back to the unboxing video for this kit, that I did say that I did want to keep this build canon in terms of like the modification. Now I don't necessarily know if I said that in regards to the colors as well. What I meant was basically just referring to that I wasn't going to like modify, I wasn't going to kit bash it or anything like that, like I did with the Kuster. I was gonna keep it pretty much out of the box. But as for like a color pattern, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I might end up just doing like one of these, something similar to like what you've got here in the manual. Or I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I do like this one. It's like kind of greenish gray and white, and it's kind of similar. This one and that one are both kind of similar, basically. This one's a little bit darker, I think, and this one's got white tags on it, and this one's got yellow. So it's the sixth company, and also sixth company. But this one is the Früher Hund and the Augenhers. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe do that or do something more wild. We'll see. Off topic. What's a good big MG besides Sazabi? The O, if you can find one. Not easy to find though, is the problem until Bandai someday maybe does a reprint of it. But that would be the first thing that comes to mind. Another big, cool MG kit. I mean, the Gelgoog, not quite as big as the Sazabi, but the Gelgoog 2.0 is a fantastic MG kit as well too. And especially if you like Xeon flavor stuff. And there's a few different Gelgoog kits available. Like non-P Bandai versions, there's really only the standard type and the Shars type, but there's a couple more that exist as P Bandai kits if you're interested. The Uma Lightning's high mobility type is super cool. I love that kit. But that one's gotta be pretty hard to get your hands on and pretty expensive probably at this point, because I think it's only ever got the one run, and probably people just bought that up. Some other people throwing in some good suggestions there. XS Deep Striker, yeah, certainly. Those ones as well. And if you don't mind the lack of articulation. I know there's some people who complain about the Deep Striker, like, ooh, nothing moves on it. Doesn't have any articulation. As if a thing with just booster engines for legs and the arms really only exist to hold the rifle. It's meant to really have much articulation. You can point the rifle, which is all it really would do anyway. The other arm doesn't even hold anything, it's just a radar unit for an arm. So, I mean, temper your expectations for what the kit can do. It looks awesome. Yeah, QMD agreeing that Gelgoog 2.0 is one of the best MG kits. Yes, indeed, definitely. One of the best MG grunt kits there, sorry, yeah. But I would say, you know, just one of the best MG kits in general, really, to be honest. It's super fun. QMD also said MG GOG is fun to build. Yeah, that's one that's always kind of looked like it's probably a pretty fun build. I'm just not really a big fan of the GOG design, but it does look like it'd be kind of interesting to actually build. And so weird that they even made an MG of that. Because, I don't know, I have a feeling if like the MG line, if it hadn't started way back when, if the MG line was just starting, you know, like even like 2015, there's no way we would get an MG GOG. That was from a different time when we actually got a lot more stuff, a lot more of that kind of thing from the MG line, and a lot of different factors. People certainly lament the fact that Bandai doesn't put out MGs as much as they did before, but I think there's a lot of very logical reasons for that. So, I mean, you can't blame them too much. MG Zaku Cannon is another phone. Yeah, MG Zaku Cannon. Not quite as big as the Suzabi if he's looking for a big MG kit, but still, yeah. I did really like that one as well, too. It's another good, like, big MG, though. I don't know. I can't really think of it. Like, the Shinanju or Shinanju Stein, also. Pretty big. Also good kits in general. Psycho Zaku, yeah, for sure. The Thunderbolt Psycho Zaku or the Thunderbolt Full Armor Gundam. The Double Zeta Verka as well, if we're talking like bigger Verka kits. The Faz, of course. The Fats. Yeah, Gyaradoga? Yeah, that's a good one too. Still hoping that someday they'll make Master Grade Gyrazulu, but actually I'd be much more excited for a Rosen Zulu, to be honest, but a Gyrazulu would be cool too. Are we still getting a 1.5 version of the Dom, Rick Dom, this year? Yes, as far as I know, it's not canceled or anything. Haven't seen any updates on that recently, as far as I've seen, but as far as I know, yeah, I should still be getting the 1.5 Dom. MG Resel, yeah, massive kit, yeah, if you get the AB type Defensor, the General Rivals version, Master Grade Resel. I mean, any version of the Master Grade Resel, but if you want something big, definitely that one's a pretty big one. I hate sanding mold lines on tiny little parts, especially very detailed tiny little parts like this. It's always tricky. Check the manual here. How much or which part of this is going to actually show too, if I can avoid sanding part of it. Yeah, that's going to be towards the inside, so what about that? Is the Mark V coming too? Yeah, Mark V is coming out as a P-Bandai exclusive kit, unfortunately, but yeah, that's coming. Pretty big and expensive kit too. Seemed like a lot of people were shocked by the price of that, but based on the design and based on the size of the mobile suit, I didn't think the price was all that surprising at all, really. Any thoughts or experience with the Bandai Star Wars kits? I just ordered the light up Star Destroyer. That's on my list of one Star Wars kit that I would like to get my hands on. I've built a couple of them, and they're all really nice from my experience. I've never built any of like the character models though, and they don't really look quite as nice in my opinion. Just for what they are, like the Han Solo or Luke Skywalker or Kylo Ren figures. Especially if they have exposed faces. The Kylo Ren one wearing the mask is probably fine, and like I've seen some really nice builds of the Boba Fett. That's probably one of the better ones among like the character figure kits. So anything where their face is covered and they don't have to show the face is probably one of the better ones in that line of kits, but especially the small little vehicle models are nice because they're super nicely detailed. Tons of detail on them, and they're just small, so cheap little kits. So if you don't want something very big, those are great. But yeah, the larger ones, I think the larger X-Wing, let's see, I have one here. It's 1/144 scale, isn't it? I forget the scale offhand of the a little bit larger size. What is this here? 1/72nd scale, sorry. 1/72nd scale, like X-Wing kits, things like that, are pretty good. Good night, Shuri. Thanks for hanging out. Also, let's see, this one here, yeah, also have the Y-Wing in my to-do list as well. I've not yet built this one. It's also in the same 1/72nd scale. So the 1/72nd scale ship models, in my experience, are really nice though. The really tiny vehicle models though too are also cool. Also, let's see, the K2SO kit, also up here. This one I built, interviewed, and is, well, I was going to show you, but I forgot. It's completely taken apart because I was in the middle of prepping this for painting, and I thought I had finished, but I forgot there's a couple parts here that are, the seam lines are glued, and I need to finish sanding that, so it's like half prepped for painting. my K2SO kit. Anyway, so yeah, Star Wars, Bandai Star Wars models are cool. Later, guys, catch the next stream. See you, Mike. Yeah, I also, too, am going to be leaving here, I think, in just a second. So, that said, I will be live again in a couple hours. I'll be off for a little bit, and then I'll be back on here shortly doing a live stream with Josh for a new episode of Plamo No Trend. So if you're not going to sleep anytime soon, you want to come back and watch that. Josh and I hanging out, taking a look at some cool stuff. We'll be doing that here in a little bit. So, yeah, I'm just working on these couple of parts here for the shoulder section of this, and then there's still some more parts, but I don't think I'm going to do any more live streaming of this build. I think basically 3 live building sessions of this was enough. You guys get the general idea. I will probably do a separate work in progress video on it though, actually just kind of showing more of, I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, the little bit of modification that I plan on doing it, making the open hatch in the arm, and kind of showing how I'm setting up the kind of scene for this with the arm open hatch and the character figures that I have going along with this as well. So I'll probably do a work in progress video, but as far as like live streaming it, that's probably about all there is. The face of the kit for Luke and Han are done with a certain type of printing. I have the Luke and I think it's very nice. Yeah, the faces for those definitely look better than like the faces on like the Figurized standard kits and things like that of the anime characters. Those are pretty bad looking, I think, generally, but Bandai 112 scale battle droid and stop is pretty hard to find now. Also, the 1/2 scale BB-8 is a lot of fun. It's just a very big model. Oh, 이제 끝났어. 잠깐. Open. The 1/2 scale BB-8 is super cool as well too. See, Alex, thanks for the live. You're welcome. Lama G, I was like, how do I get my kit critiqued by you? I know you do stuff. That stuff. Yeah, for the critique videos like we just had yesterday, that's just a perk for my Patreon supporters. So if you want to submit stuff for future critique episodes, you can check out my Patreon. It's just Zach Aurelius on Patreon, and if you want to become a supporter there, greatly appreciate it. And one of the perks is that you can submit stuff to for those critique videos. Hardest working man in the plumber business. I don't know. Probably not. I do a lot of stuff, but thank you anyway. Hopefully have power when you go live again. They said that they might start rolling blackouts where I live. It's like, oh no, Josh, are you in Texas? I know that's been going on there in Texas, but hopefully your power is okay. I enjoy the change of pace with the Mac Machine Krieger kits. Christopher said, yeah, me too. Where do you post your paint on plastic? Where did you post your paint on plastic competition build? Facebook. I haven't entered that competition. I don't think I'm going to. I suppose I could maybe enter my Cooster build, but I don't know actually. I haven't like looked at the criteria for entry actually. I think I probably missed. You have to like do your entry kind of submission first, I think probably, and I didn't do that, so I was planning on doing something else, but I just don't think I'm going to. I just don't think I'm going to enter. I could maybe enter this. I think there's still enough time. I think it goes till into March, doesn't it? I don't know. Probably just not going to bother. Not that, you know, not that I don't want to, but just for time reasons. Mulambo, how's the GPO2? I'm struggling, to be honest. I'm struggling to stay interested in working on the GPO2. I'm just kind of really not, but I'm trying to power my way through it by, you know, making it cool and doing it justice. But to be honest, there's not a lot of motivation there for me, but I could just kind of feel like I have to. So, yeah, it's okay. I'll get through it, and it'll be what it's gonna be. I enjoy it while I'm working on it. I just don't really. I'm not usually looking forward to working on it. That kind of thing. Trash to treasure is tough. Yes, it's a hard process. And considering I had the same problem with the Tristan, where I stopped working on the Tristan for such a long time, it's got me thinking like I shouldn't do another Trash to Treasure series. I think it's just not that whole kind of process. I think is enjoyable for me at times, but it's just not. It's just like not. It's not the kind of building that I really enjoy. I enjoy a build that I can build it up and I'll do like a little bit of modification, and I usually always like to do, you know, some modification to my kits just to make them a little bit different, and I enjoy that a lot. But where I'm going through and like changing and modifying parts like everywhere on the kit and making like big changes to the design and things like that, it's just not as enjoyable for me, I think. So anyway, I'll make my way through it, and then maybe no more Trash to Treasure after that, at least for a while. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, so and I mean, I know people enjoy those videos a lot, but even in just like the regular works in progress, I mean, you guys still see me just making modifications and things, even like to a lesser degree, but you see me doing that plenty in other regular works in progress. So I feel like if I didn't do any work, if I didn't do another Trash to Treasure series, you guys would still be seeing me do like the same kind of stuff, just not under that title. Yeah, but anyway, all right, guys, I'm gonna head off. I'll finish a little bit of this, do a little bit. I'm actually going to work on my review for the front mission kits. You guys saw the unboxing video last night. I need to record the actual review portion of that. I'll record that, and then I'll be live again here shortly in a little bit with Josh. So see you guys later. Bye bye.